style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart, I want to eat his children.
But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
Hi, welcome to Beyond the Ropes. I'm joined today by Dr. Kiyan Prince.
Yes.
Former world title challenger, founder of the Kiyan Prince Foundation. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me, man. Being on Beyond the Ropes is really cool.
Thank you very much. So, first of all, I want to talk about yourself and your boxing career a little bit.
Nice.
So you're a big name in British boxing throughout a very big era for ourselves in the 1990s and beyond.
Yep. Naz, Benz, Eubanks.
Yep. Made your pro debut in '93. So what pushed you to becoming a professional boxer?
Before professional boxing, there was Mark Prince, the guy without a vision, the guy without a plan, the guy with no strategy, and that puts me in the many numbers on the streets, like the many young youths that we have today, many young boys on the streets with no plan, no strategy, no vision, and no self-belief. And that was the most important thing. I didn't have that. So what pushed me into boxing was realizing that I got a choice. Do I want to carry on going down this route? And you could see where the route was leading, but I was still going down that route. So I need a light bulb moment. And I had my light bulb moment one day, and I decided that, do you know what? I'm not actually looking forward to doing a prison sentence one day. I'm not looking forward to, who knows, even dying one day. I'm not looking forward to nothing like that, and the streets didn't look like it had any great rewards for me. A car, a phone, brand name clothes, was that it? And I started looking at that, saying, okay, my kids are all right, but I can't just give my kids that. There must be something more to do with bringing up your kids than putting clothes on them, putting food in their mouth and sending them off to school. And I realized that was me. I needed to be able to have knowledge, have an experience, and set an example for them to live by. So I began and decided to start this journey and just chose boxing. I could have chose anything. I could have decided I'm going to start a business, I'm going to go into uni and get a trade, or I'm going to go college, and whatever it is, but I just decided on boxing. I don't know why that resounded in my head, maybe based on the fact that my dad used to box. I had a reputation in the streets, I could bang. But for some reason I held on to this belief that if I trained and I focused and I believed where formerly I hadn't believed, I could make something of myself. And with that mindset, I began the journey of going running every day and going to the gym.
Very explosive boxer yourself, and you said you definitely could bang 75% KO ratio after 23 wins.
Yep.
As I mentioned, you were a world title challenger. Mm-hmm. Would that have been possibly the high point of your career, would you have said?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Would that have been the high point of my career? It should have been, but I got it all wrong. Oh man, I never put enough into understanding what I was doing when I was doing it. Your strategy and your plan has to be airtight, and then you have to stick to it. Mine weren't airtight. Mine was what you call on the roads raggle. So it was like, I'm gonna train, I'm gonna eat better, I'm gonna get fit, and I'm gonna bang. But the logistics of the whole process. Make sure you got a tight team. Make sure you're doing the business side of it right. Make sure that everything's on point, and you're trusting who's getting you ready. And here's when you're ready to go for titles. Here's when there's some real strategy to building a prospect up for him to becoming a world champion. And if you read Sugar Ray Leonard's book, if you discuss with old school guys who really understand the process of this, and the people that have worked with him, worked with these fighters, you'll understand that there's a lot more to this than just you saying, yeah, I'm gonna go and do it. And I feel that there's fundamental mistakes are made on the journey that could have turned things in a different direction and maybe given me the win that day that I so sought after. And when I look, I think, okay, you get to the top of the mountain and then you don't do what you've been doing to get to the top of the mountain. So I've done all this good stuff, I've got there, and then when I get there, to attain this goal, you have to do all of that and more. And I didn't.
So, after the loss itself, then, would you say that it could be considered one of your lower points of your career?
No, I still wouldn't take it away from that fact, because many guys would love to say I fought for a world title.
Absolutely.
So I would never ever say that, and I thank God, because those errors I can only look back on reflection. When I was there at the time, I couldn't see any of that. With hindsight, it's awesome to be able to sit here with you and say, look man, I should have done this, I should have done that. And I'm not saying I would have won, I would say it would have given me a greater opportunity to win, having the right focus when you've arrived there. So I'm very happy that my career gave me that opportunity where I could fight for a world title and to be with a top promoter at the time, which was Frank Warren. And he done a good job in doing what he was doing with me.
We're quite known for being big fans of Frank Warren.
Oh, cool.
He's still in the business now, still working very hard.
Nice.
So we've got a lot of time for Frank Warren.
Yeah. And someone, I love children, but if someone could muzzle the child, then that would be nice.
We've been silent in here for about an hour or so, now we've got a kid running around, it's amazing.
Yeah, there's some kid who's just going nuts in here, so I just thought, I'm only joking.
So your world title fight was late in 98.
Yeah.
You didn't return the ring to yourself until November 99. Was that an enforced
In what year?
This would have been between your loss
Which was?
in September 98.
Okay, then I had a
year out until November
Okay.
99. Was
Yeah.
that enforced?
Not at all. Not at all. I was asking for fights. I wanted to fight. I was told to just getting married, go and relax, go and. If it was down to me, I would have fought probably December. So I fought for the world title in September, I think it was. I would have fought in December. Why? Because it's the first time you see a decent pay packet, and you want to kind of continue that flow instead of decreasing that money, because money, people think, oh, you're getting paid. It don't last long. You have to keep putting that stack in your papers. So the longer you leave a gap in boxing, it is the more difficult it is to kind of build what you're trying to build financially. So I wanted to fight in December, didn't happen. Wanted to fight again in spring, summer, wasn't happening. And you're in the hands of your promoter. You're in the hands of your promoter. So, I did get married in summer of 99. And then I think I fought in November of 99. Oh, my brain's quite decent. So I would have preferred to, I could have fought between September when I lost to the world title and around maybe May, because I didn't get married till I think it was July, I think it was, I got married, so or June, I think it was June. So but it was all said and gone. I came back, first fight as a cruiserweight, hungry, strong. Kevin Mitchell's my mate. I love him to bits, but I just smashed him and got rid of him swiftly because it didn't matter who it was. I was not playing. I was hungry. I wanted to show that the fight with Mikuchowski actually blessed me and done more good for me than bad. So I came back and it didn't last more than 46 seconds. And then I got offered a fight for the world title with Johnny Nelson. I thought that was a bit dodgy, sort of leaving me out for over a year and then offering me a fight with a world title holder who'd been fighting as I was paying attention every 6 weeks. And from what I sort of know in boxing, that's when you're really building a fighter up, and you're not building him up in terms of he's a prospect, but really kind of looking after him. Every 2 months he's in the ring, he's stacking some papers there.
Keeping you in the public eye.
That's it. He was doing a great job for Johnny, Frank was. And I thought, for me to beat a guy that has Johnny's style, which in all due respect for me was a running style. It wasn't an attacking, fighting warrior style. It was a tricky boxing style, not so much offensive but defensive. Nothing taken away from Johnny. He's my mate. He's a wonderful fighter and he's had a wonderful career. But I thought, let me have a few fights. Let me get ring worthy. In the last over a year, I've had 46 seconds in the ring. Now, by now, I'm mature enough. I know that with a guy that hasn't been in the ring for a while, you know, you never know about the ring rust. So, give me a couple fights, Frank. But I just got that one fight, and so I thought, nah. In my eyes, I thought I'm not getting looked after right. That was my outlook at the time, and I decided to go in a different direction and seek for someone who was going to have my best interests at heart. So there was a fight with Johnny, with all truth be told. I had a chance to be able to fight him, but I didn't fight him because I didn't think that, I didn't want to make those mistakes I made before. I weren't going to fight for world title and mess this up. So I needed to get things right, and this was how I was thinking. So for me to be able to fight, get me the warm-up I want. Let me have a few rounds and then let me and Johnny go. And it wasn't, my manager didn't think that was the way to go forward. The 46 second was good enough for nearly a year and a half, and nah, I didn't agree. So you have to take the bull by the horns and lead your own career, and that's where I was going in the second part of my career, was taking charge. And I had a lot of people people talking to Don King. I had a couple managers over here that I could have talked to and dealt with, but then I had an injury.
Which was going to lead me to my next question.
There you go.
So, I mean, it was obviously quite a severe injury. Do you want to, in your own words, obviously, how would you describe the injury? How did it come about?
Oh, the injury came about, and I used to be quite reserved about talking about this, but whatever, man. I was working with my younger brother, who's a big guy. We done a film with Jackie Chan on Jet Li, Enter the Dragon, or one of them ones he done, and he was doing some security work. So he had his own little team, and he would call me or call my brother sometimes because he needed a bit of support, and he needed guys he can trust on the team with security, guys that can back it. So he called us and asked if we could help him do some job. I think it was some concert, Tina Turner or whatever. And I was like, yeah, cool. But I wasn't always aware of who I was as a fighter and my high profile. So the last thing I want to do is kind of get into anything. So doing the job, I always used to go home and thank God that nothing kicked off and we could be able to do this. So we started doing this job, and one day on the job, some geezer must have decided he wanted to go into an area where I let him know you can't go past this part and you couldn't go and sell your merchandise over that section. He decided that no one could tell him what to do and he was going to do whatever he wanted. But I was immediately like, come on man, let's not do this. He weren't having it. A lot of the guys from country who used to come down, A lot of them used to be sniffing up the speed and the coke and that, and he seemed like he was on it. So he quite speedily let me know what he felt about me, and that I couldn't do anything, put his hands on me. Obviously I wasn't going to have that, but I didn't want to spark him.
Yeah.
So what I normally do, if I get into altercations, I'm on the street, I don't usually look, these are mine, these cost money, so I weren't about to use that. So I've come from a background of different sort of fighting techniques, judo, karate, stuff like that. So I know how to use my elbows, I know how to use different parts of them. So I decided to first just take the throat. He was put in a hold that he found difficult to manage. He was choking, couldn't breathe, he went crazy, so I had to bring him down. But what was strange about bringing him down was I tore my ligaments as I brought him down to the floor. Obviously he didn't know this. Obviously I didn't know this. So to cut a long story short, because a couple of stuff went on, I don't want to bring anyone's name into it, but he was in danger of really being hurt. Okay, I was being quite merciful towards him. So I let him up and I told him to leave the scene. Don't come back because you're going to be hurt. What happened next is that my knee was shaking like a leaf in the autumn breeze. And I was like, okay, has this guy damaged my knee and ripped my knee? But for me, it was like, I just started feeling angry, like what? Have I allowed this incident, even though I've got controlled him, it was a freak accident turning. It's like I heard the rip. So I kind of got angry and said, you know what? Where's this guy? So obviously I'm thinking he's gone. He's not gone. I've walked down the road with my brother and he's there. He's standing up down there. And he's still selling his stuff, his merchandise. Posters for sale. I said, what are you still doing it? But this time I made up my mind. No mercy, you're getting done. So the elbows came in. Bam, sparked, he dropped. Before I could do anything more, my boys, my brothers piled in. So I'm like, okay, I'm trying to allow it, let me deal with this. No one was having a bar of it. So I put the boot in. Who told me to even use this leg? It was already injured from up the road, but I didn't know how badly. So when I've used the leg on him and done a swipe kick, boom, my foot was over that way. And I'm looking on the floor thinking, why am I sitting on the floor and everyone's standing up in action? And when I look over, I'm seeing my foot over there. I'm thinking my foot's supposed to be, and then I start hollering and screaming and going mad. So I grab my foot and I'm holding my foot like this over, and I'm shouting to my brother, put it back in, put it back in. My brother looks at me, you sure? Yes. Does like a Rambo. I don't know if anyone's seen that movie. Does like a Rambo, and he just puts it back in. Luckily for me, there was so much crowd, because by then the concert had come out, thousands of people. Cars couldn't drive through the crowd, it was very difficult. Police was nearby, and they saw, came over, lifted me up, which was ridiculous pain, put me in their bully van, and obviously with their lights on, their people started moving and they could get through the crowd where there was an ambulance further up, and they got me into the ambulance, took me to the stair, and that's when another nightmare began, because the healing process and them giving me the news about my knee was just the worst news I could ever hear. For any fighter, you don't want to hear your career's over. You can't fight again. You don't want to hear those words.
So how do you obviously have heard those words at some point? How do you deal with that when you are told? Anger. You're angry. And for a man that have a good heart, do righteous, live good, that devastated me. So I turned on the same God that I was trying to live righteous for, and was angry with him.
How do you let this happen? Like people are when they lose loved ones and they get angry with God. How could you let this happen to me and blah blah blah. So I done that, and so you turn to start smoking more weed and kind of being like that until I kind of realised that that's not the answer to this. I've got to get back on my feet. So you got to find that same warrior that you got in the ring. You got to find that same warrior in or out the ring. You ain't just a champ when the hands are up on the belt. You're the champion here. That's what makes a champion. Many guys have held the belt up, but they haven't shown that championship heart. And that's what I had to do. I had to find the championship heart to come back and not allow that to crush me. And I've seen things crush fighters and depress them, and really bad things happen, and drugs and drink and mental health issues and all sorts. And I didn't do that. I leaned back on God. I exercised with whatever I could, and I took the long process, and I started giving back. Started helping young kids, sharing them with my story. I was an ex-fighter. My leg wasn't that good, but I could still function. And started helping kids and training them and doing it for Islington Council and Hackney Council, and just started to make my life useful again, and realised that it's not about just having a name or seeing it in the boxing news or being on TV. It's about who I am as a person. So I started developing that, who I am as a person.
Okay. And now obviously the more painful side of the interview. It was widely reported on the 18th of May 2006
No doubt.
that
No doubt.
your son Kiyan Prince was murdered is the
Yeah,
word.
yeah, my son was murdered, man.
Single stab wound.
Single.
And it's a horrendous story. I mean, myself
Trust
as a
me.
man, hearing that is horrible. Myself as a father is absolutely heartbreaking. I can't even begin to imagine
Totally.
what it's like to
Yeah, I don't want you to imagine it. I'll go for it.
I mean, before we speak about anything else, do you want to tell me a bit about your son? Because I hear he was a great
Great guy, chill back guy, funny, real funny. Love being with babies. There was something about babies that were drawn to Kiyan. And that's always a good sign when you see a kid, especially a young guy his age that just loves to cuddle and be affectionate with babies. Always a really lovely thing to see, a positive sign. Cared about people, really made his mum's heart warm, always put 100%. And here was the key thing about Kiyan, he would listen. You could break things down with Kiyan and he would listen. He would put what you taught him or showed him into practice. And what I didn't know is how much of an impact he had on other people's lives in the way he was warm and kind and looked out for them. Guys telling me how he'd break up fights. When they would go and do Sunday league football when he was growing up, he'd be the one breaking it up, and everyone else would be going trying to bang. Some would be breaking up. I've learned from other guys that they would talk about Kiyan sort of including them in games, including them in groups. Some people don't sort of try and do that. They see someone excluded, yeah, whatever, no one knows you, mate. But he was inclusive. He would draw people in and make them feel at home and make them feel welcome. That was lovely. You look out for young boys, year 7s and year 8s, make sure no one was bullying them and picking on them. You know what I'm saying? He was looked up to, and listened to the head teacher at school when I went to watch him get 4 awards, and the head teacher say that in this school, other kids want to be like him. It was a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing.
It's a ridiculously cliche question to ask, but how did you manage to obviously get through that? Because you've obviously lived a very positive life from that point. How did you manage to survive that incident yourself?
You can't prepare for it, so I can't say, okay, I done this and then I done that and then I done the other. So I've got to do what I've always done. And what I've always done is realise what powers I have and what powers I don't have. And one of my powers I don't have is to deal with you killing my son. I don't have that power. Where do I get that power from? What do I do? What, you're gonna write me out a A to Z list and, this is how you sort this out, P? And no, none of that makes sense to me. I'm angry, I want revenge, I want justice. And it's difficult to get justice from an injustice justice system. It's unjust, and I don't see no justice in it. And I don't see how a guy can get 13 years, which they call life, for killing a boy that was 15 years old. That doesn't even equate to 1 year each of his life. So I don't see that as a justice system. But I know that there is a higher judge than the justice system that we have. So because he's my friend and my father, I look towards that and not towards this. And what I did eventually have to look at is what do you expect from me? If you're real to me, because religion ain't, that don't mean nothing to me. Religion ain't, that's not real. What's real to me is that I was made by a creator, and that means that he's a manual for me. He's got a way for me to function and live, for me to live a great life and for me to be productive. So I want to join with him to be able to live that life. And that goes when things are bad, that goes when things are good. That just stands regardless of what happens in your life. That stands. You either believe that or you don't. Most people, when things are bad, they start questioning their belief. That will test your belief, but I'm not gonna question it. I've learned that. All the other stuff that I'd gone through with my knee, with my stillborn baby being buried, with my mum nearly dying, all these things that happened after my career had ended and my career ended, I'd learned a lot. And one thing I did learn was to trust in your maker. So after going through the initial stage of I'm gonna kill this guy, I got to the point where I always get to where, you know what, Dad, show me what I need to do next. And he did. He showed me that I'm gonna build you up from this grieving guy that seems like you can't even live on and you want to die, to somebody who's going to direct young people into another change of mindset, another way of living, another way of doing things. You're gonna empower and inspire. That's what I'm gonna do for you. And I couldn't obviously see it, but because I'd said, okay, I'm open, lead me, lead the way, and I'm gonna walk in it. So what would happen is I'd get calls to do talks. I'd think, why are you calling me? Why are you? And then I'd think, okay, I did say to God, lead the way. So I can't say, why are you calling me? I'm not talking because I'm scared. I'm not scared. I'll fight, but I don't want to stand in front of people and talk. So I couldn't say no because I'd already said to God, yes, you lead. So this must be his leading. So I said yes. So it grew from there till my phone was ringing and ringing, until emails, whatever, and it just started going crazy. And then the awards started coming, and then more youths, and I saw the impact of what it was having on people's lives, and that was the best thing for me. Not the awards. What I needed, what would have been great, instead of getting the awards, it would have been great to be getting the support so I can reach more young people. Because that's what I needed, and that's what I've always needed. Come on, let's form an army that's focused on one thing, educating our youths and giving them the kind of knowledge that they really need. Because school knowledge is not enough. The school system was set up in the 19th century, 200 years ago, and it was set for that time to get kids ready to work in the factory. How can we be in a digital age, in the millennium, and we're still working with the 19th century school system? How does that work? Of course kids are going to be disenfranchised. Of course kids are going to be misbehaving and hate school and don't want to be a part of it. It doesn't work. What works is you changing the system so it works for kids and the things that kids are facing now. The things we're facing now is a digital world. Challenges for these young people. It's a different mindset. So, God's rightly placed me and allowed me to go through trials and tribulations, however heart-wrenching and gut-wrenching and listen, this stuff, I can't explain it. But I've gone through it and continue to go through it for a greater reason and a greater cause. So Kiyan's name will be attached to to this greater cause, that because of him and the legacy that he's got left, people will never forget, because they've been reached out to with this new mindset because of what my son has gone through, being buried.
So obviously the call and the work and stuff like that started to come in for yourself. So at what point did you feel you had to put that all together to create the Kiyan Prince Foundation?
Not too long, straight away in fact. 2007, very early. Dad got killed 2006, 2007 I was on it. By 2008 it was a fully registered charity, and people was recognising what we're doing, and they wanted us.
So you've worked long and hard now for, I suppose it'll be 11 years now.
Yeah.
The message has been getting out to people far and wide, people that may not have heard of it as of yet.
Yeah.
What does the foundation do? What do they offer to people?
Authenticity, reality, real motivational talks. Kids, here's what I've discovered. Kids need self-esteem building. Kids need self-identity. Kids need to build their confidence. And they need to see real people that they can engage with that's doing that for them. And they don't see that in the teachers that are at their schools. Very few of them, okay? They don't have the right role models. The music artists, as I took one of my son's phones, I said, son, share with me, what's that song you're listening to? And I was thinking it was Mo Stacks or one of them. And I was thinking, what are these guys teaching my boys while I'm not listening? What are they listening to that's teaching them? Because everything you're listening to is teaching you at some level or another. So what are you filling your soul with? And he would listen to this guy saying, you're even better driving when you're drunk. You can do what you want when you want to do it. And I was thinking, that mindset is so negative. Why couldn't you spit some bars that was inspiring my son, that he is great, that he can be someone, that, okay, you want to talk about the Benz, you want to talk about the high level, you want to talk about brands, well, teach him through your music, how does he reach to these levels, that there's another way, and I don't see this happening. So I call these kind of guys sellouts. I call them, if once I see my own black guys doing it, you're Uncle Tom's, bruv. Because the system that works the music, they're not black guys behind the scenes. So they're not coming up with the ideas to produce these musics. What's happening is that the people that are doing it to bring down mindsets of people. It doesn't matter what people think, it's about the proof in the evidence. If you're allowing all garbage music out that's not gonna generate anything positive, then that's what you're about, that's your aim. I run an organization, I understand about aims, objectives, vision, goals, short-term plans, long-term plans, I understand. And these guys understand it too, even better than me. They're in billion-dollar businesses. They have to have these things in place. But if you look at their plan, and if you look at my plan, it's completely opposite. We're at war with each other. So I'm gonna speak out openly about the people that go against what I'm teaching these young people. I love the next generation. I prove it to them by teaching them like I would teach my own child. These guys that chat garbage in their music, they're never gonna bring their kids before they go to bed and have a chat saying, listen to me, Stephen, all you need to do is whatever you like, when you like. You see, when you can drink, get in the car, drink as much as you like, because you're going to drive better when you're drunk, son. No one's ever going to teach that. So why are you making that music knowing that youths are buying that? Why are you doing that? So you see, I'm just a realist, brother, and I'll break it down simply. If we want to change this world, we have to stand up, be aware and listen to what's being fed into our youths. The schools need to wake up to what they're doing and the effects that this world and the internet and phones is having on the young people, and start making changes. Get us into the school. If you're not going to do it, cool, bring us in. But what we face is a system that doesn't want to open their doors, doesn't want to pray for these interventions to come in. We're always banging our head against a wall. Why should KPF be banging their head against a wall when you're all pretending that knife crime's an issue and you need it stopped? No, you don't. I found that different. No, you don't. This stuff's deep, bruv. God's put me on a journey where I found out a lot of truths. And he's put me with a lot of people from up there, with Prime Minister, to Parliament, to police, to whatever you name it, and I listen, and I understand, and I see what's going on. And I'm not saying there ain't no genuine people. There are, in a system that's twisted, but it's still the system and the agenda that they're working in.
So sadly, knife crime is obviously still on the rise,
Big
especially
time.
in the capital at the moment.
It's ugly. Let's not even, to me, sadly, sounds like a news line. So I'm not getting at you, I'm just putting the fact that that's too timid. Let's nail it. This is a disgusting epidemic and our young people are dying. And whenever the news puts it over like this, and this should be some red alert, siren sounding, like wake the hell up. Get out there, stop this. Where's all the feds that are just saying to these youths, you know who they are? Fed, let me tell you something, man. I'll tell any fed, you know who they are. Me and you know that you know who they are. It's a cat and mouse game. Crime pays, but it pays the system. That's why we've got a prison system. Everything's a system. Okay, so let's keep it real. There's some cat and mouse game. You know who the cats are, you know what's going on. Listen, I see someone today who's been done for knife crime about 2, 3, 4 times. Has he done any bird? What's the message that he sends out to him? Like, bro, seriously, I'm in the front row. I'm at ringside. I'm at ringside. First, I was in the ring in boxing. Now I'm in the ring with knife crime. And I know exactly what's going on. I know what punches to throw. I know how to win knife crime. I know how to take knife crime out. But if the people ain't listening and backing it, supporting KPF, backing the initiative, pushing what we're trying to do, we've been trying to get little premises for ages. The people that matter ain't really interested in pushing that. So who's gonna push it? We gotta do it. I see people raising money for Red Nose Day, cancer research. Tell me what cancer's researched and told you lately. I'll sit here for a while and you let me know what has cancer researched and informed you of with all the millions and billions they've been researching all this time.
You've been there for a while, because I wouldn't be able to say.
Okay, cool. Imagine if I was running a charity for that long and had received all that money from the public and I couldn't come up with any solutions to what I've been talking to you about, that I have a solution of knife crime. I've got this charity and it's all about helping people, and I'm gonna say this is what I'm doing. And you're saying, what are you doing? And I'm going, and you're gonna keep giving me your money, yeah? This is what we do with cancer research. And I'm not dissing these people, I'm keeping it real. Here's the truth. It's not about dissing, this is about presenting the truth, and let's let people come up with the answers when the truth is right there in front of them. And we could go on. You know, there's other big, massive companies and stuff like that. The system is wrapped up. There's a charity system. There's the charitable giving system. These person will get, these person will get, these person won't. We end up with the little peanuts. Listen, man, listen, if the people don't wake up and understand what time it is, then we're just gonna go round and round talking. So let's talk about knife crime. What's the solution? What are we gonna do? What should we do? Rare. We want a building in our area? Okay, cool. Let's do a charity fundraising. How many people in the ends? I don't know. How many people in flipping Tottenham area? There's bloody thousands upon. There's more than 100,000 probably in a borough. Yeah. In a borough you get more than 100,000 people. How much is that? £1 each. You won't even notice it. See, this is my mindset. I went and done a clip on YouTube. Over 370,000 people press like. How many? 20,000 shares. Okay, put £1 then for KPF then. Likes and shares are great, but I'm trying to do something here. I ain't trying to do likes and shares. Everything I do, when I post things, it's about KPF, it's about inspiration, it's about helping others. That's what it's about. So, do you want to support that? You want to be a part of that? Then I'm down with you coming on board. But if you're just there to try and gas me up and tell me how great I am, but you can't put £1, if I'm so great and what I'm doing is great, where's your support? If you ain't got £1, come and join me. If you ain't got £1, say, yo, Prince, I need to volunteer and do something. Come and join me. That's all I'm saying. But don't sit back and be giving it all that, giving it all the comments, because everyone's got a lot to say, and good on you. You've got a lot to say, but we're dealing with people who are doers, and we're done with the talkers. That's why I just gotta listen to Sadiq and just go, do you know what? Let me keep it moving. Yeah, your little clips of being out there playing a little tennis for the cameras, coming on saying, yeah, what you're gonna do, how much million you're putting towards knife crime. Okay, where's that? Who's that designated to? How long is this to last? Break it down a bit more. Because this our money you're playing with, bruv. This is our money. Don't be talking about what your is. You ain't even your P. That's our P you're sharing about. That you robbed us when we go and park up. And we shouldn't be getting no parking tickets on our road. That you mug us off, bruv, when you're wheel clamping cars every minute. And you're taking people's P for taking cameras for when I just got one for going flipping what? 35 miles an hour. It weren't even me driving, but it come to my house for me to get it, and it's not even me driving the flaming car. But it's like a few miles over the thing. It's like all of this stuff is for creating revenue. All of it. It's cool. Look, listen, the world we're living in is peak, man. It's peak, man.
I agree with it massively. I'm well known for being on my soapbox quite a bit about political issues. Boxing's like my release from that, so
I hear you.
But I completely understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of boxing being a release, back to that, you made it's not a brief return to the ring. I returned to the ring in 2013.
Yeah.
For 2 years, 4 fights.
Yeah.
First question is, are you retired now?
Totally.
Definitely no comeback on the
Totally, no comeback, nothing.
And what prompted the return to the ring in 2013?
I had to take things in my own hands. I was tired of doing what I was doing and trying to expect anything back in return. Someone's gonna back Cape, someone's gonna support us. There'll be a corporate that will look and say, do you know what, this is doing great stuff, knife crime area, let me inject some money. You know, I see all these great charity dinners, shows, everyone doing a little auction, and guys just 30,000. And I'm thinking, bloody hell, what I could do with that in my charity, and all these stuff's going on, and I'm thinking, how do I generate that? I tell you what, why don't I bust my ass, start training, get back in the fight, I can become world champion. I've seen what's out there, I've seen the pedigree, these guys ain't got it. I'm gonna show these boys and school these boys. I'm not just gonna beat you, I'm gonna school you while I'm at it. So I come back in the game to do just that. And what happens? Politics. Boxing system. Boxing's got an agenda. Boxing's got a way of doing things. As much as I love it, that's the reality. Boxing politics, I call it. It's just how it is. So I'm having to deal with that too. So that's why after 4 fights, I thought, do you know what, let me not waste my time. You made excuses, said it was my age, then it wasn't my age, then you said it was my knee, then it wasn't my knee. Your on board doctor said no, you should be allowed to fight. Then it looked like you were stopping me from boxing because I'd fought for the Maltese boxing license, and you got your own personal beef with them. So, but that's got nothing to do with me. It's your personal beef with them. I'm a guy my son's been killed. I'm trying to do something valuable, and I should be valuable to boxing communities because I'm somebody that's valuable because I stand for goodness. I stand for doing something good. That must be good for boxing, isn't it? That's not important. That's not the agenda. Because if it was, they would have said, get that Princey guy back on the scene. Let's get him. They would have made a deal with me. Well, let's test you. We'll give you a short license for 2 fights and let's see how you do. If you don't come up to par, but they didn't even come up with nothing to give me a chance. Just shut the door. Kept saying no, even when there was no excuse. Even when I went and had two cases where I'd applied.
So the one good thing that did come from one of the positive things that did come from your 4 fights returns is the picture that adorns the cover.
All right.
Biography.
All right.
So I mean, one of my questions is
yeah, boy.
what path put you on the route to writing this book?
See, look, and just remember, that's all the people that told me not to fight again because I'm going to get my ass whooped. That don't look like the pose of someone whose ass got whooped, does it? That looks like a champion, a real warrior pose. So yeah, sorry, the question.
So what put you on the path to a biography?
Oh, God gave me that dream in 2004. Told me to write a book. I woke up out of my dream and I spoke like as if he was sitting next to me on a chair. What, you want me to write a book? That's how I was talking. I fell asleep on my settee, woke up, had this dream. I said, okay. And he even gave me the name. He said, from boxer to doctor. And I thought, that's weird. I was sitting there talking to myself, that's weird. Boxer to doctor, why? It didn't make no sense. So I was thinking, maybe it's got something to do with the fact that I was knocking people out and now I'm healing people's hearts, minds, whatever. So I thought doctors do it. So I made that attachment and left it. But it wasn't that. It was that God had a gift for me. He had a blessing for me. He wanted to give me an honorary doctorate degree and put that letter behind my name. So by the time the book came out, I'll be named Dr. Mark Prince. And it was that simple. But I had to go through the years and the process for that to be revealed. Because sometimes God gives you stuff, and if you check Joseph's story, people know him from the boy with the many colors, but they don't know the deepness of the story, how God gave him a dream from when he was a young boy, and it materialized when he was about 30 years old, where the dream said that his family was going to bow before him, and he went from being beaten up by his brothers, sold into slavery, wrongly accused of rape, put in jail, and he still kept faithful to God. And then he went from telling people the meaning of their dreams came true, they left him in prison, forgot all about him. And then when the Pharaoh in Egypt had a dream that no one in the land understood, called my man Joseph, the guy remembered, this guy told me about my dream, Pharaoh, get him out, he'll tell you yours. Pharaoh come out, told him his dream, told him what was the meaning of it, that Egypt was going to be in famine for how many years, and the Pharaoh said, you're an awesome man, I can see the Spirit of God is in you, and we need someone to be in charge when we have the 7 years of good blessings on the land, and then we have the 7 years of famine, who's going to be in charge of that? Joseph went from prison to being in charge of the most powerful country in the planet at the time, and that, on earth at the time, and that was Egypt. So only God can work those things.
So I imagine.
And I only said that, sorry, because of related to the whole doctor to doctor, boxer to doctor, giving me the honorary degree.
That's great to get the insight into the thought process behind it.
Okay.
So I mean, it must have been a hugely challenging process for yourself to go back through your life's events.
Yeah.
To get it down on paper.
Okay, very, very emotional. I'm just trying to remember. A lot of stuff and going around talking to people. It was another growth for me as well. I learned a lot as well through the whole process. I understand the book writing process a lot more, and I understand my life and how I affected people, and just so many different things across the board doing your book, and plus being so transparent and being open to people as well. You're open to ridicule, you're open to comments, it's a difficult thing to do. But yeah, I don't have any issues about being open.
So this has been a rewarding process for yourself.
Very rewarding, because I'm about growth, and we should be growing in life. And a lot of young people, I teach them that you think that growth is about physical. So now you got hairs around your nuts and you got a couple more inches you extended now. You think that's growth, and the girls now you're showing yourself as a woman. That's where growth ends. No, it's here. It's here, and this needs to be developed, and you can't develop it on social media all the time. You can't develop it going out riding out, ride or die with your brethren. Riding out with your brethren, your mind can't be developed. It's being crushed. It's been nullified. It's been ruined by that kind of mentality. It needs to have the right things to develop your mind and make progress.
So the book itself is out 5th of April. Mm-hmm. It's available for pre-order on Amazon now.
Yep.
I can't wait to read it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that it does very, very well.
No doubt.
So I mean, once this is all died down, so you're going to have a lot of work yourself in the promotional sort of side of it now.
That's right.
What's next for Dr. Mark Prince?
More challenges. Man never knows what's next around the corner. I've lived a life where that much I've learned. So I don't know what tomorrow brings. But whatever tomorrow brings, as long as I stay next to my pooper, as long as I stay next to my daddy in heaven, whatever life brings me, I'm ready for it. If it's great things, it raises me up, which is the plan, then great. Could be a film. Could be next. 'Cause I'd love people to be inspired on a visual. You know, we get a lot of rubbish films out that people get excited about. Do you know what I'm saying? Oh, you know, drugs, fast cars, and women, and rare. Let's have some more inspirational stuff where people see guys from their own ends, you know, up there, which will inspire them. Like, boy, that's my boy. He's from Tottenham with green. That's Hackney. That's my ends. Do you know what I'm saying? That's real. Like, I'm feeling that. You know, we need to build up more of that. So we stop looking up to these guys like they're the stars and they're the celebs. Because I'm not on all that hype. I don't get gassed about all these people. That's not reality. You know, in reality, these guys have to eat, sleep, and shit just like you. So why are you going to put them on a pedestal unless they see you as valuable? Then you see the value of how they treat and deal with life, how they speak and treat people. Then you'll realize, oh, they value their self. Oh, they value me. Now that's somebody that I can value.
That's the word. We've gone so deep today, and I really appreciate you giving us a lot of your time and your real deep thoughts. I mean, we speak about boxing pretty much what we do. I show everyone.
Yeah.
We discuss a lot of things that, in comparison, seem extremely trivial.
Yeah.
And I can fully appreciate that we all get caught up in our day-to-day lives.
That's right.
And we don't often kind of break down what life is all about. Speaking with you today, it's quite humbling, obviously, to hear your story. And,
No doubt, man.
and like I said, I just really appreciate you giving us the time.
Thank you, man. I always appreciate the time, brother. Always.
So I will be reviewing your book for another venture that I work with. So
That'd be great.
Looking forward to getting a copy of that and reading.
Please do, man.
And hopefully we can catch up with you again at some point.
That'd be awesome, man, because there's more. The best is yet to come. Honestly, the best is yet to come. As I said, we never know what tomorrow brings, but we're ready for that. And but it's about your plan, your vision for your future. We must have one. No one knows what tomorrow brings, but let's have a vision and a plan and let it be an awesome one for your future. And I believe that you can create the world that you want to live in. And I'm encouraging everyone to create the world you want to live in by being that person. You want a lovely world where people are kind and courteous and good to each other? Be that. Be that.
And that is the perfect way for me to finish then.
Peace. Peace.
Thank you very much for joining us on Beyond the Ropes.
Thank you, man. Thank you.